Hello there, friend. Welcome back to the Doing What Matters podcast. I am excited to be back. I've actually been on vacation this past week, and it felt great to just get away for a while to one of my favorite places, which is the North Georgia mountains. And actually, I got to do some of my favorite things. I combined family because we took my parents with us, my mom and my dad, who are in their late 80s. In fact, my dad will be 90 this December. And it was great to take them and show them one of the places that Dale and I love to go. Farmer Dale went with me as well. And then I got to combine two things that I love: relaxing and rest and work. And so on Friday, I had the opportunity to drive down to Atlanta and actually speak for a group of women that are associated with real estate. And it was a blast to hang out with these 30 women and get to talk with them and share with them about the real life process, the life management system that I teach and that I live out in my own life, and that we talk about often on this podcast as we talk about doing what matters, living our lives in the way that we have chosen to live our lives. And that might be different and even maybe not as in congruency with how the world lives. Many times they're living in that place of rush, go, go, go. And we're really wanting to live from a place of rest, not rush. And I believe that comes internal from deep inside of you, externally out into the way that you live out your real life. If you're not familiar with the real life process, you can head over to thereallifeprocess.com. There's all kinds of downloads and things that you can get there to learn more, and just keep listening here on the podcast and you can find more out about the process itself. So let's dive into today's episode because it is summer, and as I said, I just returned from vacation. So I have really been thinking about, maybe this happens to you. I've really been thinking about, once we go on vacation, sometimes in the summer, we can feel like that possibly the summer is over. And we're done with the summer. We're done with summer fun. And we're done with all the relaxing things that we like to do with the summer. Or maybe we start to tell ourselves that the summer hasn't gone the way we had hoped. And I want to talk today on this episode about resetting up your summer. Even though it might be the middle of the summer, it's here in the middle of July or somewhere near that as you're listening to this podcast, that in any season, we can do a reset in the middle of the season. So maybe we just want to rally around your summer plans and say, how can I still make the most of this second half of summer? How can I be intentional with how I'm spending the rest of my time? And I really want to talk about that through a word called pre-decision. So much of what we can do, we can actually pre-decide. It's our choice if we want it to be. And I don't know if that word pre-decision or pre-deciding is actually in the dictionary or not, but I'm going to put it there. It's going to be in the real life process vocabulary. I've been using that word for a really long time, that we get to pre-decide. So what is pre-decision, right? It is the act of making a decision in advance so that it guides our future, it reduces our stress, and it increases our effectiveness. So let me say that again. Here are 3 benefits from pre-deciding, and we're going to apply pre-deciding to the rest of our summer. It guides our future actions, it reduces our stress, and it increases our effectiveness. So when we think about that for summer, if you're here in the middle or the end of July and you think summer, at least here in the Midwest, actually lasts all the way through the end of September, middle of September. So it's 2 more months. That's 60 days. 60 days is a really long time to change habits, change behaviors. do new things, and we can pre-decide now to do that. All is not lost. So we could pre-decide maybe to take a certain day of the week off. I decided early this summer that for the most part, I was going to take Fridays off all summer long. And that's been a great habit now that I have formed. Now, that doesn't mean I might not have things I'm doing on Fridays. Sometimes I'm talking online with some girlfriends that I get together with, and sometimes I'm having lunch with someone. This Friday, I'm actually going to hang out with a couple of my girlfriends at one of their pools. So that's going to be really fun, but it's usually all around connection on Friday because I pre-decided that. Now, I'm not sure this fall whether I'll take Fridays off or not. I will decide that when I set up my next 90 days, which will be sometime in October, actually towards the end of September, because every 90 days, I get up on the balcony and do a reset. So this 90 days, I have pre-decided that I'm going to take Fridays off. Maybe you want to pre-decide that you're going to have a certain afternoon that you do something with your kids, or that you do something with a spouse or a significant other. Maybe you want to pre-decide that between now and the middle of September, end of September, the next 60 or 90 days, that you're going to make some health choices, that you're going to walk every day, or you're going to do exercise every day, or maybe you're going to read for 20 minutes every day. But there's so many things that you can make pre-decisions around. The key to a pre-decision, I believe, is to go out and block that time in your calendar so that you steward it well, so that you put on your calendar now the things that you want to happen in the future, in the next 30 to 60 days. Now, I will tell you the first week or two, it's a little harder because you may already have things planned out for that Friday or that Wednesday afternoon or that Friday night date night. But go ahead and decide now that you want that time. So Peter Drucker has a quote that says, "The best way to predict your future is to create it." And I absolutely agree with that. We get to choose and create our future. So understand that pre-decision is going to get you three things. It's going to reduce stress, it's going to increase effectiveness, and it's actually going to help you guide your future actions. So now let's talk about how can we reset some of our summer plans. Again, some of this is mindset, right? It's thinking ahead of thinking, what do we want summer to look like? Maybe so far it hasn't turned out, but we still have time. You've heard me talk often here on the podcast about every 90 days or so, I get up on the balcony and I decide what that's going to look like. What are the next 90 days going to look like? And I may have one or two things that I want to get done. So maybe there are one or two projects that you want to work on between now and the end of summer. And you want to write those out and write them down and say, here's some actionable steps that I could do around those things. I know sometimes the summer season feels different and there are different things that are going on, different commitments that we have. So maybe you only want to choose one thing, one project that you want to work on between now and the end of summer. But setting some clear and achievable, actionable steps around something small, one or two things. I know for Dale and I, one of the things that I wanted to get done this summer was to clean out my garage. And so a few weeks ago, before we left on vacation, I told Farmer Dale, I said, hey, I want to set aside some time to clean out my garage. Now, this is something I've been procrastinating on. I'd been putting it off. But when I actually did it, it only took a few hours, especially with both of us working together. And now every time I drive in my garage this summer, it feels great. It didn't take near as long as I thought it was going to be. It was pretty painless. And I like to do it at least once a year to give the garage a really good clean out, get rid of things that have piled in. So maybe you have something like that you need to do, that you want to set a time for, and that you want to just say, hey, we're going to do this. It's going to take us 4 or 5 hours. Let's get the whole family involved and let's get this done. Maybe you have a project around a memory that you want to create. There is still time to create that memory. Maybe you want to do something special with your family. Maybe there's a 24, 48-hour getaway that you'd like to have with your spouse or your significant other, somebody in your family. How about you look out at the calendar, look at a weekend in August or a couple of days, and you set the time now. I just want to encourage you that you won't get that time back. So let's pre-decide and reset and rally around some summer things. And put together those important steps. Sometimes the reason we don't move forward with something is we don't think it all the way through. Who do you need to call? Who do you need to make arrangements with? What do you need to purchase or buy? What reservations might you need to make? What small thing can you do today that's going to have an impact on the future? So Tony Robbins says, it's in the moments of decisions that your destiny is shaped. So if you want summer to have some great memories with people, if you want summer to have some projects that you complete, now is the time to pre-decide what you want summer to look like. I still have some things on my wish list as well for summer. One of those things is working on my audiobook. A couple of years ago, I wrote the book, Doing What Matters, Live from Rest, Not Rush. And it's been out on the market for 2 years, and I still want to get the audiobook out. And so that is on my list. I'm saying it here to hold myself accountable of things that I really want to get done by the end of summer, by the middle of September or so. I want to have that audiobook recorded and off to the publisher. And so I just keep that in the back of my mind. I've set out a plan of when I can work for that and work on that. And I want to encourage you to join me in creating some memories this summer. It's not over yet, and pre-deciding what you would like to do. I would love to hear from you around some of the things that you're working on this summer. If you've been stuck, now is the time to get unstuck and get back up on the balcony. And I'd love to hear from you. One of the ways you can do that is actually through our free community. We have a community called the Real Life Process Community. You can go to our website at thereallifeprocess.com and you can join that free community. Another way that you could stay involved is actually by following us on our YouTube channel. And you'll get all the podcasts and any other content that I put out on our YouTube channel. You can just go over to YouTube, type in the Real Life Process, and you will get all of the YouTube content that we put out over there as well. I would love it if you would subscribe. So with that, this is a short episode today because I just want to encourage you to pre-decide to reduce stress, become more effective, and take greater action. That's what pre-decision will do. And let's pre-decide one memory that we can create and one project that we can complete before the end of summer. Summertime is such a great time to create memories, and I hope that you'll enjoy all the moments that this summer still has for you. Remember that every ordinary day has an extraordinary moment. You just have to look for them. I'll be back next week with more of the Doing What Matters podcast. Have a great week, everyone.